Alright, it's time for the 100 demons to arrive, so let's begin. Here's the starter. It's a unique flag being Parade of the 100 Demons. It's the same skill, just restricted for you to use 100 demons and generics, and of course Buddyfight cards. In which we go to Leader of the 100 Demons Ikazuchi, where auto when riding on top of the Parade of the 100 Demons, look at top 7 cards of your deck to choose up to one card from one of them, and put it to the drop, and of course shuffle your deck. Typical grade 1 setup, although this one doesn't go to hand, it goes to drop instead, which means the deck might be drop zone heavy. In which we go to the grade 2 with tanky power, Superhuman Might Ikazuchi, where when riding on top of the grade 1, look at top 5 cards of your deck to choose up to one Thunder Mine ability card from among them, reveal it, and then put it in your hand, of course shuffle your deck. Just like in the regular Buddyfight anime, Thunder Mine is a unique ability that negatively affects your opponent depending on scenario, that only relates with the 100 demons. In which finally we go to the grade 3 with 13 power, Lightning of Beginning, Thunder of the End, Ikazuchi, which has the skill Act Vanguard once per turn, cost combo +1, choose non-sentinel 100 demon unit cards that are not Yamigedo and call them from the drop. This is actually going to be very helpful, especially for you to set up those 100 demons with Thunder Mine abilities. In which the second skill is, the name of the skill is 100 Demon Sorcery Evil Pulse, which is an Act Vanguard once per turn, cost, pay 1 gauge, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Once again, a Buddyfight grade 3 that basically acts as a resource engine because the main rear guards are the thing. But since Ikazuchi as a character plays more with brutality, this actually kind of makes sense. In which we go to his main equipped card, Thunder Claw Narukami, which is a grade 3 normal order item, and you arm it to your Vanguard, of course, and it has a count skill where this card cannot be played from the drop. Don't know what's with the restriction, but okay, but it has the skill count Vanguard during your turn, all your front row units are plus 5k, that is pretty nice right there. And just to add a little more pressure, Act Vanguard once per turn, choose one of your rear guards, retire it, and then your Vanguard gets crit +1 the end turn. Very nice, basically giving your Vanguard some extra power and crit pressure, especially power to the front row, which basically adds some extra Vanguard abilities practically for this card. Just wish the crit part was an auto skill instead of act because it just replicates the original one where it does it during battle. And now to the support cards that are Thunder Mine. We start off with Purplish Green Dragon Palua, which is a grade 1 wiki power and has the Thunder Mine ability where auto rearguard once per turn. When your opponent's grade 1 rearguard is placed, if your Vanguard's Ikazuchi, that placed rearguard gets -5 key power in the end turn. This could be very effective, especially on certain scenarios. But basically this is the new Thunder Mine where instead of damaging your opponent like the original, because that's too OP, it negatively impacts your opponent's stuff instead. Which in a way I actually like this change. And then we go to Poisonous Water Dragon Sazazamira, which is a grade 2 with tanky power and has the Thunder Mine ability of auto rearguard once per turn when your opponent's grade 2 rearguard is placed. While your Vanguard is Ikazuchi, that placed unit gets -5k in the turn. Obviously more effective than the grade 1, and it is the main playstyle of the deck, so of course you must run it. And then we go to Stranger Dilemma, which is grade 1 with 8 power, has the Thunder Mine ability. Once again, it's a once per turn -5k on your opponent's rearguard if your Vanguard is Ikazuchi, but that's only if your opponent plays a normal order, which might not happen as often compared to the one that says grade 1. And then we go to Eliminator Galisa Labolos, which is a grade 1 Wakey power, has the Thunder Mine ability, where auto rearguard once per turn when your opponent's rearguard is power is reduced by Thunder Mine ability, and your Vanguard is Ikazuchi, that opponent's power gets -5k power, then you can cost counter +1 to draw a card. Basically this one just adds a extra 5k in addition to the 5k that was already on place, which as a combo beast can actually be very impactful. And on top of that, draw power. And now to the non-Thunder Mine stuff, we start off with Ice Prison Emperor Cocytus Greed, which is grade 2 and tanky power in the skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them face down as gauge. Gauge charging is always pretty nice. With the next skill, Act Rearguard, cost, pay 3 gauges, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it, or retire option if you need it, in which the final skill is auto rearguard when this unit attacks, if your Vanguard is at least a grade 3, plus 5k power in the end of the battle. So basically it's a resource engine, and also retire fodder and big attacker. And then we go to User of Darkness Disdain, which is a grade 2 with tanky power, and the skill is call, cost, pay 1 gauge, and then it has a skill of auto. When placed on rearguard, search your deck or drop or face up from the damage zone for up to 100 demon set order and put it into the order zone. But if you search your deck, shuffle it. If you use the damage zone, put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. This card will be important because of a set order, of course, which the set order is Star of Yamigedo. You can only have one of these in the order zone, and the skill is auto order zone. When this card is put to the order zone, or your damage check reveals a card, or when your rearguard is retired on rearguard, choose 100 demons from your drop zone and put it face down as gauge. Basically, the more pain you get, the more gauges you get, which is of course pretty good because any type of free gauge charging is always very nice. Too bad you can't stack these, but I do kind of get why. So you could just run one of these, especially since you got the order searcher. in which the other set order is 100 Demon Formation Thunder Mine Stance, where once again, just like the other one, you can only have one of these in the order zone with the skill of Act Order Zone. Once per turn, cost pay a gauge, choose up to one grade 2 or less Thunder Mine ability card from your drop zone and call it to rearguard. And if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, that unit gets plus 5k power. A continuous recovery engine, which is actually pretty nice. And once again, you can run one of just because of another card. And to the last of the set orders, Shrine of the Corrupt Fujigami, which of course reference of the cracked shell of Yamigeto. So you can once again only have one of these in the order zone with the skill of Auto Order Zone. Once per turn, when your rearguard with Thunder Mine is placed, draw a card. Another resource engine card, which is obviously pretty helpful. And depending on timing, you want a certain one first. Personally, I would say the gauge one first, and then the superior call one. This one will probably be the last one just because it's just extra draw in comparison to just choice putting stuff, but still helpful if you need it. And then we go to a normal spell, Demonic Way of the 100 Demons, Akishoki, which can also be played from drop, and you play it by paying 1 gauge. Find this card, draw a card, search your deck for up to 1 unit card that is Thunder Mine, and discard it. Of course, shuffle your deck. Then if your damage zone has at least 3 cards, draw a card. It's basically a setup card that lets you draw cards, which is actually very nice, especially letting you draw additional card if you're at high damage count. It's just too bad Ikazuchi itself doesn't have the ability to use 2 orders in the same turn, but considering that there's not as many orders and you got more set orders that can be set directly, this isn't entirely too bad. And right now this is the only normal order in the deck, in which we go to the Blitz order, Ghetto Shield, which is a sentinel and also has the typical PG ability for Parade of the 100 Demons, but the unique ability is that you can remove the card to cost pay 1 gauge and choose one of your opponent's rearguards and minus 5k power in turn, which is very effective especially during your opponent's turn during battle, because in case of restand abilities. And now it's time for Yamigedo. We start off with the grade 0 egg with 0 power, Hasted Evolution Yamigedo, which has the Thunder Mine ability of auto rearguard once per turn when your opponent's at least grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks. If your Vanguard is a Ikazuchi, that unit gets minus 5k power until the end of the battle. Wish it was until the end of the turn, because that would be just in case of freestanding Vanguards, but minusing 5k is always pretty nice, and obviously since Yamigedo in this form is an egg, other than the gravity, he's not going to do much. In which finally we buddy call Great Fiend Yamigedo, which is a grade 3 with 13k power, and you pay 2 gauges to call it, along with putting at least 1 to 300 demon rearguards into the buddy's soul. With Count Rearguard, this unit gets all the Thunder Mine abilities of this unit's buddy's soul, which is actually very nice, because not only that you inherit those Thunder Mine abilities that could negatively impact your opponent, you can call more rearguards now, which could also add up. In which the next skill is Auto Rearguard. At the beginning of your main phase, choose a card with the Thunder Mine ability from your drop zone and put it into this buddy's soul, which of course gives it even more abilities, which is of course pretty nice. It also has a Soul Guard ability, and it has its own Thunder Mine ability where Auto Rearguard once per turn when your unit attacks does not hit, and if your Vanguard is a Ikazuchi, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and minus 5k power in turn. Basically a reference to the anime, because Yamigeto's Thunder Mine revolves around getting blocked. Which this one's huge because if you're on the attacking phase, you're definitely going to be attacking your opponent with weaker power. In which finally, it has the double attack ability where auto rearguard once per turn at the end of battle this unit attack. If your grade 3 Vanguard is at stand state, cost counterblast 1 to stand this unit. A lot of abilities for one big rearguard, alright? Basically inherits a bunch of negative abilities on your opponent, gets even more abilities, and even can protect itself while also doing multi-attack, and can even negatively impact your opponent even further on attack. What's not to love? And finally, here are the higher rarity stuff. They're just pretty cool, with the cool secret rare with Yamigedo and Ikazuchi. And next week we got Nana Claire with the 3rd Mistitch. Excited to see it, especially on probably pre-hits. And so that's it for the Ikazuchi with the Yamigedo ride line. What do you guys think of it? Overall, it's pretty awesome that they brought back the Thunder Mine ability, and of course not as OP as the original, because if it does damage it on your opponent, that'll be way too OP. But I do like the take on it with the minusing power, because that is actually pretty awesome on how it could actually negatively impact your opponent. And then just Yamigedo coming back as a big giant behemoth that can do a bunch of stuff is just awesome. Especially since the original Yamigedo did not inherit abilities. But I kinda like the idea of inheriting abilities as the sign of devouring your own rearguards and thus getting your abilities. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you next time.